Hey everyone, how's it going? So last time what we did is allow filtering of our posts, so it will only show the post from that user on the profile page. We also added the functionality for showing replies only, so now this tab would work if we could actually click it, but once we set it up to handle that, it will load all the correct posts quite easily. We've already written the code which will handle that. That's just this is reply flag. So how about we get that tab working then? So I will go back to, where am I going back to? Posts.js, is it? No, we want profile roots.js. So in profile roots.js, we're going to pass in a selected tab in the payload. Now we won't always do it, because like I said before, you might remember, I said that if there's no selected tab, it will just default to being this post tab. So we'll only pass in a selected tab if they're going to the replies one, right? And if you look at our code, the way you get to the replies one, if I click that, it's by going to profile, username, and then /replies, okay? So all we need to do is handle the replies route. So I will copy this part, and I'll paste that in there. And then this is going to be /replies. Okay, and I've just realized I'm still logging the payload, so I'll go and remove that. I'll get rid of that console.log payload, and I'll do the same up here as well. Get rid of that console.log payload. It just clogs up the console that way. Okay, so in this one then that we just added, what we'll do is we'll say payload dot selected tab equals, and I'll just put replies there in a string like that. So we're essentially adding the selected tab to the payload. Okay, great. So now this will pass the selected tab back to us. What we will do is go to profilepage.pug, and we're going to do something very similar to what we did here. So I'll copy this line and I'll add it below, and we're going to set this as selected tab, and this will just be selected tab like this. So selected tab now should contain the selected tab string. So just to be sure, if I alert selected tab, and I will reset the server. And I will reset the server. Oh, sorry, restart the server, I should say. So restart the server, and then go and log in again, and we should see something. I will click the profile button, and I see nothing because there is no selected tab variable there. And then if I go to replies tab, we should not get an error anymore, and we get replies there. Okay, great. So why did we put that inside of a variable? Well, that's a good question. So let me show you. Well, one of the reasons is so that we can visually show the right tab. So if I go down to, where is it? Here, where we create the tabs. Currently, we're just passing in true and false. Obviously, we don't want to do that. We want to change this based on whether that tab is the selected one or not. And it's real simple. The way we're going to do that, instead of passing in true there, we're going to pass in, selected tab is not equal to replies. And then underneath that, I'm going to copy that, paste that. Instead of false here, I'm going to say selected tab equals to replies. So on the top one, for the posts, on the post tab, I've got selected tab is not equal to replies, is the condition. And then on the replies tab, I've got selected tab equals replies. Now, why have we done that? Now, like I said, we want to default to this tab here. So what we could do, of course, is check that it is equal to, I don't know, posts or something like that. But remember, we might not always have posts as a tab, so we don't want to check for that. Basically, what we're going to do is just say, if it's not replies, set it as true. Now, this one right here will only be true if it is set to replies. Now, this wouldn't work if we had another tab, for example. Let's say we added a third tab, then we would obviously need to modify this a little bit, because let's say this tab was like, I don't know, let's just say this was a messages one. If we had a tab called messages for some reason, then we'd want to check that this is equal to messages. And then in here, we also need to say, selected tab is not equal to messages. So we need to append that condition if we had an extra tab. Okay, so that's what it would look like if we had 3 tabs. Of course, we just have 2, so it's a bit more simple. So all we're going to have is just like that as the condition. So now we should see it visually change depending on what tab you're on. So I'm on the replies tab, and you see this is now the selected tab. If I go back to here, it works. Now you might be wondering, why did we put it inside of a JavaScript variable? right here, this isn't a JavaScript variable. This is a pug variable. You can see right here, we're using the pug variable right here. We're not using the JavaScript variable. This JavaScript variable here is not this one. They're different things. This is the pug variable. So why have we put it there? We haven't even used it. Well, we are going to use it. If I go back to our JavaScript page, what was it called? Was it profile.js? I've got too many tabs. Oh, I closed it down, didn't I? Profile.js, where we load the posts. We have this part right here where at the moment we're just loading all the posts, but what we're going to do is check that JavaScript variable. So we're going to say if selected tab equals to replies, then we are going to do something else, and then we'll say else, and we'll just put the load post in there. So currently, if I put that in there, figure myself out. If I put that there, we should only see the post loading on the post page now. If I go to the replies page, we shouldn't see anything, okay? Because it's hit this condition and nothing's in there yet. So all we're going to do is copy that, paste it below, and we'll change the condition. And this is going to be is reply true. So this will only get the user's replies. Now this will be load replies, and of course let's just go and call that function in here, and we should be good now. So if I refresh the page, we should see all the replies, and these are all replies, great. And if I go to there, we see all the posts. So right there, we're done. We've implemented a simple tab system which gets a certain post depending on what the tab is.